And as the president just said, calling on lawmakers to finish the job, laying out his vision for the country, but he will have to work with the GOP-controlled House. And
in the audience was freshman Congresswoman Jill Tokuda. She now joins us live from Washington, D.C. tonight. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. So this was your first State of the Union address in Congress. So what were some of the moments that stood out to you tonight?
Well, it was definitely chicken-skinned to be sitting in that, right there in the audience, listening to the president's speech, as you just mentioned, really calling on us to finish the job, to provide the relief that families, that workers, that our people and communities are asking for. Hope, quite frankly, giving us hope that when it comes to making sure that people have the money and the good jobs to be able to put food on the table, a roof over their head, we're going to be able to deliver on that promise and build on the work of the last Congress. So there were definitely some standout moments, I will say, very emotional ones too, being able to see the family of Tyree Nichols there as guests in the gallery, Paul Pelosi, so many who really represent the things that we need to fight for, stand up for, do better by. And I think for me, it really just was quite an evening, and just excited to really just start getting to work.
Yeah, and one of those moments, as you just mentioned, Congresswoman, was when the president said ban assault weapons now. I know when you were running for office, that's something we talked with you about, red flag laws, background checks, and you sort of mentioned wanting to sort of emulate some of Hawaii laws at the national level. Do you think that speech moved the needle, and do you think that Congress can take action on that?
Well, I really wish the entire hall would have stood up for that. Sadly, that really, it was Democrats that jumped to their feet immediately, cheering, yelling, screaming about that. We have to finish the job for our kids' sake, keeping them alive and safe in our communities, in our schools, in our places of worship. That's so critically important. So we definitely have a lot of work to do to really strengthen our country's laws. To me, strengthen them as Hawaii has, but it's a fight we've got to continue to take in order to make our communities safer.
Well, and as you mentioned, you said some of those items Republicans were not standing up with you. Do you think that some of these things can actually get through in that gridlock?
I hold out hope. What I did see throughout the evening when the president talked about the need to bring down the cost of prescription drugs, to make sure that early childhood education was provided, talking about keeping our streets safe from violence, freedom, really making sure that our people have the basic freedoms that they need to live their lives. Occasionally you did see some on the other side stand up, and there were moments throughout the evening where everyone in the hall was standing and on their feet. So that does give us hope that there are points that we can really focus in on where we can reach bipartisan agreement. And the reality is we just know we're going to have to do our best to reach across those aisles and make people realize that this is about our communities and our constituents. We've got to cross that divide. We've got to bridge the gap. And we've really got to bring it home for our people.
All right. Hawaii U.S. Congresswoman Jill Tokuda, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.